bought a house.
As you can tell by the title, we bought a house in Canada. Hey fam, my name is Tatela, aka Tata Living. Welcome. If you're an oldie goldie, if you're new here, hi, I'm your everyday Zimbabwean girl living in Canada, and on this channel I do realistic point of views of immigrant life. Let's get into it. We bought a house. I want to start from the beginning and say that this was unexpected. I didn't expect that this would happen this year. When we first moved here, we had said that we were going to buy a house. In our heads, of course, everybody, I don't know about everybody, but most people dream about buying a house. And we were part of the people that were dreaming that we will buy our house in Canada. When we first arrived, that dream was very much alive. I really saw us doing that within a year. We had good jobs. Everything was good. So we were thinking it wasn't gonna take a year. But life happened. Like, life will humble you. That's why I'm like sitting on the floor because I need to be grounded when I say this. Life will humble you. When we first arrived, all was good. We went through our immigration process. We settled down. We actually rented the first apartment that we went to see. We had a 3-month-old baby with us. We didn't need all the craziness, so we went to view one apartment and we got into that apartment. It was a good location, access to downtown, access to major highways. It was good. We loved it. I loved that place so much. That was in 2023. In 2024, things changed a bit. I lost my job, so finances were not as projected. We had a lot of things happening. My sister was moving to Canada. She had to go through like the whole process of being in the market, and I was job hunting and everything. So by the time that the 1-year mark of us being in Canada, I was unemployed. My husband had a job, but it wasn't like a secure job. It was a contract kind of job. And so given all that, our dream of being homeowners kind of sounded ridiculous at that point. I was like, oh, you know what, these were just the talks of an oblivious newcomer. And so that ship sailed. Didn't think about it again. We're like, at the end of the day, we will get there when we get there. Spoiler alert, we did not plan for that to be this year. I honestly did not think this was going to happen for us for the longest time, since, you know, the first time that I thought it was going to happen and it didn't happen. The ship had sailed and gone for this exact season that we were in. So at the new year, I made my goals for the new year, just like everybody and their mama does. I wrote down 8 goals. I'm gonna do a review of my new year goals in another vlog. But so anyway, I wrote down, I think, about 8 to 9 goals of the year that I wanted to focus on. Of course, the eating healthy, the reading books and all that. And then I had really one other goal that was on there that I wanted to get pre-approved for a mortgage. Mind you, I did not know what pre-approval of a mortgage means. Like, I know that that's one step to get to buying a house, but isn't exactly what that entails and everything, I don't know. Like the details of it, I just put it on there. I don't want to buy a house. I want to get pre-approved for a mortgage. Maybe in my head, I was thinking maybe next year I'm gonna get that done, like the actual buying of the house. But at this point, I was like, the goal that I'm gonna put for me and obviously my husband is that we will get pre-approved for a mortgage, right? That was that. Anyway, and then one random time I received a mail, like a letter from a company that was affiliated with my former organization. and I didn't open it. Honestly, I was so about me being let go, because, I thought I was performing well. They said it was about funding, and honestly, the world has gone crazier after that. So I believe them now. At that beginning, the US funding thing had not happened extensively, so I did not believe it was about funding. I had thought it was about something else, but yeah, I've come to understand that it was really about funding now that, the US and whatever. Anyway, I received a letter from a company affiliated with the organization that I used to work for before. And I didn't open that letter. I was like, I don't need this. I'm just getting over the fact that they let me go. Why are they sending me mail a month later? So I ignored it. They sent me a second mail. And please don't shit me, but I really ignored 2 letters from them. I don't know why. I wasn't interested in hearing anything from them. I then received another letter written final notice, and I was like, what do you mean final notice? What do you mean final notice? Like, who do you think you are? So I remember I opened that letter while I was in the elevator in our apartment building elevator, coming from work, tired, at 11 p.m. And I was like, what do you mean final notice? Like, we will fight. Like, I will take you to court. Anyway, the letter now reads, I opened that one, of course. The letter now reads that, we've been trying to reach you. We just wanted to let you know that your retirement fund has matured. Since you're no longer with the organization, you can either continue contributing out of pocket, or you can keep the money that you already have with us, or 3, we can give you your money, and whatever it has gained, and that's on you. And I was like, what money? Scammers. Like, what do you mean? What money? I don't have any money with anyone. So when I signed the contract with that organization, I just saw how much money I'll be getting. I signed, and that was that. And I got that. I'm sorry to say, I didn't read the fine print. So apparently they were taking a percentage of my pay, every paycheck, and investing it for me for a retirement benefit. I had no idea. That there was money that was being taken. Obviously I signed the contract. I should have read it. That's all on me. And I'm glad I didn't. Because if I had known, maybe it wouldn't have been as wonderful as it happened right now. So I said, give me the money. First of all, I don't believe there's any money in my head, but give me the money. Give me the money. They were like, yeah, so your money was being taken in the pound equivalent, because this was coming, I don't know. Girl, the money was more than I thought. I was like, girl, what do you mean you have money that belongs to me? Give me my money. Run me the check then, if that's true. They were like, okay, sign here, request your money, and the money is coming to you. I was like, okay. And from the time that I said, okay, give me my money, I think it took a month or so. And then one random day on a Friday, my bank calls me, and I don't want to pick up because I'm like, this is a scam call. My bank does not usually call me. They send me emails. So and it's 4 p.m. Which bank is calling you at 4 p.m. on a Friday? It was summer. I was heading to a concert. I was like, you know what, whatever. I'm going to answer the call. I answered the call, and they were like, yo, there's some crazy shit happening in your account. And I was like, what's happening? And they said, well, there is this amount of money that's coming into your account right now. And you have never received that amount of money before. And I think is it are you getting robbed, or are you selling drugs, ma'am? Or like, what's happening? Oh, they didn't ask it that way, but like she sounded really concerned, and I was like, is it coming from like Ireland, girl, that country next to the UK? And she was like, yeah, why? I was like, oh, so it's a form of RRSP, like our Canadian equivalent of a retirement plan that I was contributing into, but they have decided to give it back since I'm no longer with the organization. They're like, okay, bet, this is how much it is. And I was like, okay, thank you, I guess. So immediately that money came into my account, we went back to the financial advisor, and he was like, take part of that money and put it in your FHSA, and take part of it and put it in your TFSA. So FHSA is like a first home registered account or something like that, and then TFSA is like a tax-free savings account. So when you invest into that one, your gains or whatever are tax-free. Girl, I'm not a financial person. I'm trying to be, but I'm not. So anyway, we had opened our first home's savings account in December, and we're putting some part of our salary already. So of the money that we were already contributing plus this money made the dream of having a home quite accessible. But as a person who had lost their job abruptly last year, I feel like it would be devastating if we went into buying a home, and then if any of us lose our jobs, then we were going to be in hot freaking soup, and I didn't want that. So still didn't think the dream of getting a house, even though like when we're talking to the financial advisor, I was like, yeah, I mean, with this money and plus the money that you're contributing, by the end of the year, by next year, I think you guys would have something to buy something good. Life went on. I had other goals on there. Others came to pass. Others were not just happening for me. So anyway, I hosted the Media Vision Board reset party here in Calgary, and I started rethinking about my goals, like what about the rest of my goals that I had not attained for the year. And I was thinking, like, what can be attained, what really realistically. Have you ever seen this meme that like, I'm gonna buy a new phone and you add cash, or I'm gonna, so that's the type vibe that I was doing. I was like, what else can, like, of all the goals that's remaining, realistically, can this be achieved, or like, do I have to pivot and whatever. That's when I remembered about my goal of getting pre-approved for a mortgage. So I told my husband one day when he was on his off day, I was like, hey, I'm thinking we should go to the bank and like talk to our financial advisor about what the pre-approvals, mortgage pre-approvals are like, and what we need to get into that. I just wanted to get pre-approved. I did not know, for instance, that pre-approvals expire, right? So I went into the bank with my husband in tow, and we sat down with our financial advisor. Shout out to our financial advisor at the bank, like literally that guy. I need to get him a Christmas present. Actually, yeah, I need to write that down. I need to get our financial advisor a Christmas present, because he became a financial advisor, a friend, a therapist, and all in one throughout this process. But stay with me. So we go into the bank, and I'm like, hey, what do we need to do to get pre-approved for a mortgage, right? So this guy sends me a list. I think I'll put the list on here. I can't remember everything that he tells us to send. I'll just put it on the screen. But most importantly, like, they already have like our credit history. If we have credit in any other, like, institutions, they wanted that. They wanted our employment letters. So yeah, I finally got a job, and yada 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 yada. I got a job at the end of last year. So it's been a year in my job right now. My husband got his permanent job in March. Around the time that we went to Mexico, he got his permanent job. And so yeah, so they asked us of our like employment letters, pay stubs, our credit histories. They had most of it because we bank with this bank, and they are the ones who give us a lot of credit cards and lines of credit. They had a lot of yada 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 yada. Not too many, guys. Like, the things that they asked were so basic, and I was like, bet. Me and my husband, we gathered those documents, and the next week we were back at the bank. We're like, hey, here is what we have and all that. So this guy said, so the first time that we went in, we're just like chatting with him. He told us a number. He gave us number X. And we're like, oh, okay. So I started living on realtor.ca. Every day, during work, during play, I was just on realtor.ca checking out each and every listing that was in that number that I could like. Anyway, when we talked, we decided that we wanted to go with a townhouse because we're in an apartment. We lived on the 3rd floor. We felt like our child did not have as much space to play, so we wanted a townhouse. We knew that the number that they had given us, like, it wouldn't give us a good what are they called, standalone homes. So we wanted a townhouse that would fit in that budget. So when we saw that budget, we're like, yeah, it's something, like, we can get something. It's not bad. And he started telling us about this new homes incentives, like if you like get a house that's being built and yada yada yada. And we're just like, okay, we'll see, right? We'll see. Anyway, moving along, when we finally gave him the documents, like, the number that he had told us somehow reduced. I don't know why, but it's slightly reduced. And I remember we're in the bank, and he told us the number that we would get approved for, and I cried. I was like, that does not buy much. Like, it does not buy anything. And I started crying, and he was like, no, don't cry. Like imagine I'm in the bank with this two men, my husband and the financial advisor, and he tells me the number, and I said, okay. I started blinking, and then I started blinking rapidly, and I started crying, and he was like, what's happening? And so they panicked. They reached for the tissue, both of them, and yeah, so they gave me the tissue, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna buy anything. Like, I feel like this is a waste of time, blah 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 blah, and all that. But anyway, the goal is that I want to get pre-approved. I'm not even like looking, like I have been looking, but you know what, at least my goal of getting pre-approved is it, right? I got pre-approved. That's whatever. Next year, maybe, you know, I'll get a little increase. My husband will get a little increase, who knows. So maybe we will be in a better position. And this guy is like, listen, you've just been here for 2 years, and you're already in the process of thinking of getting pre-approved. That's like, you are already working or thinking about your future. That's smart moves right there. Like, even the market right now, it's not as crazy as you think. Yada 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 yada. I've heard of people, like, he even told me that there's people who like pull in with their siblings. So I started thinking, if my sibling blah blah blah, but then she would need her own first home, blah blah blah. So if she were to pull in with us, she wouldn't be able to buy a first home of her own. So we chucked that idea completely. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, she deserves to have a first home of her own. During the pre-approval process, he told us that if we went with a house with no condo fees, we would be qualifying for an X amount of money, which is higher. And if we went with a house with condo fee, we would be kept at this amount of money, and all that. So I started living on realtor.ca. I was just scrolling and all that. I'm like, maybe I'll just see something I like. We are pre-approved, so already I checked that goal off my my list. One thing they did tell us though is that the pre-approval expires in 3 months, and the 3 months was up in December. So I was like, whatever, we're just browsing. In my head, we're just browsing. So I started going on open houses. Started visiting open houses. I would find out which areas that I liked, and I'd find out if any houses are having open houses, and I would go there just to see what's on the market. One of my colleagues was also on the market, and she had put offers like 3-4 times, and the offers would get rejected. And so I just wanted to see, like, the thought of buying a house this year was not even a reality at that point. And I started going on realtor.ca and just like bookmarking open houses, bookmarking houses that I want to see, or bookmarking houses that's in our budget that I think would be a good fit. Mind you, I had an inflated like things that I thought, like I had a list of my wants. My wants where I wanted a garage, I wanted a big kitchen. I wanted a good area with, like, I didn't even think about schools. Like, I don't even know what schools are in this area. Oh my god. But yeah, we still have a few years before she goes to school, so maybe we'll find out. I will find out, guys. I don't know. So I just wanted a good area and a certain area that I thought I wanted. For my husband, he wanted a big backyard. Not big, but he wanted a backyard for his daughter. That's all he was looking at during like us moving around doing viewings. He just wanted a backyard for his daughter. Anyway, we went on open houses here and there, and yeah, whatever. So while I was talking to the financial advisor at the bank, he had bought a house. He started out in an apartment, and he shared with us that he had bought a house and he was moving into like a standalone house. And he was like, oh, his realtor was very good and he can like give us his realtor and see if it's a good fit or not. It was not. It was not a good fit. This guy, the first time he took us to a very bad neighborhood, and the people, like, it was a Saturday morning, and the people were not aware that we were coming. And so when we knocked on their door, they were sleeping and they were grumpy the whole time. And he was like, I really, like, you should have like the seller, like, I'll make another video of how it works. So we had like the buyer realtor talks to the seller realtor, and then the seller realtor talks to the sellers. So we talk to our realtor, our realtor talks to another realtor, and anyway, as you can see, the chain of command is just a lot. And so apparently the seller realtor had not informed the sellers that we were coming for a viewing. And so he was really grumpy the whole time. He was just telling us like, do you think we're gonna steal something? I don't know. So, and he was he was African too, so I can't even claim that there was racism happening. It was just tomfoolery is what it was. So fiercely and there were a lot of mosquitoes at that place. I remember my daughter had a lot of mosquito bites after going there. We're like, okay. He took us to another house. It was just and it was like, oh wow, this is what you have, this is what's in your budget, whatever. My confidence went down. We stopped going on viewings with him. We're just like, he would schedule viewings. We're like, oh yeah, I'm busy, we're busy, oh my husband is working on this day and I'm working on this day, so we can't really maintain the schedules. Like, it's okay, it's fine, whatever. My husband's friend had bought a house a few months ago, so he gave my husband, his realtor, and he was like, oh, he was a perfect guy. He's from your country, from my husband's country, and yeah, it's gonna be perfect. It wasn't perfect. This guy started taking us to houses that were not in our budget. We had a pre-approval letter that says this is the amount of money, maximum amount of money that we can give you as the bank. Why are you taking us to houses that are like times 2 that? Like, you're wasting our time, you're wasting our money, you're wasting our gas. It's just So he took us to houses that were not in the budget, and I was just like, do you think the pre-approval limit is just a suggestion? I mean, yeah, you can go to like a broker and they can give you a bigger amount of money at like a crazy interest, but like, let's focus. I wanted a house that wasn't going to cost us more than our rent, right? The rent that we're paying, we have managed to pay that rent for 2 years. Even when we were unemployed, we were still able to pay that rent. And I think that's our threshold. I think that's our affordability meter right there. And so I didn't want anything that was more than that. I wanted to start out and not feel the heat. I wanted us to start somewhere that would not give us pressure. And that was all I asked. So when they actually approved us for this, at first I was not happy, but after doing the math, I realized that, you know what, this is actually okay. Like, we wouldn't be too far off. Like, I don't want to say a lot. I don't want to like go into the technical details, but we didn't want anything that was too far off from our rent money. So anyway, the 2 realtors we had tried, they were not it. So we were like, let's go back to open houses. So we started going back to open houses. I went to this particular open house and I liked the location, I liked everything, but it was 1.5 bath and I needed 2 full baths. I mean, we're 3 adults in this house. We are not going to be waiting for each other to shower. Anyway, we went to that open house. The house was not, it had 2 baths, so it wasn't gonna work out. But the location and everything, it was a townhouse, it was the end lot, so you only had one like wall touching your neighbor. But yeah, it was not what I wanted. Like, I could negotiate whether there's a basement or not. I didn't care about whether there's a basement or not. There was a basement, I could negotiate, but I had non-negotiables, and the bathroom situation was one of the non-negotiable bit of it. So the realtor at the end of the, like, who was there was like, oh, by the way, do you have a realtor? We're like, no, the realtor situation didn't work out. She was like, you know what, send me your list of negotiables and non-negotiables. Send me your pre-approval amount, and I will make sure at the end of each week I send you a newsletter in your email with just this criteria, this search criteria, so that you don't have to go on viewings that have nothing to do with you, right? So, and there's no pressure. If you end up going with me, fair and fine. Like, I even give you she mentioned that she would give a certain amount of the money that she will get from her commission if we decide to go with her, but if not, that's okay. Like, she just wanted to make sure she sends me what's out there in the market that's on my radar. I was like, okay, girl. She gave me her card. Her card had this, you know how there's like a pin, the pin where the card stuck to the paper was a house pin. Okay, I love aesthetics. I love things that are just aesthetically pleasing, if you know what I mean. And I was like, this is cute. I went to another open house. Another guy showed me a house, and I went to another open house the next weekend, but I just couldn't get off my mind that lady I had met who told me about the search criteria. So I hit her up. I was like, you know what, I mean, send me what you have. This is what we're looking for. And she was like, I bet. She sent me listings. She was like, just tell me your availability and which places you think you would want to see. So me and my husband sat down. I showed him the list. We made a short list of the places that we wanted to see, and she was like, okay. So we did viewings with her. I remember we did viewings over 2 weekends. The first weekend she showed us about 5 houses. The second weekend she showed us about 3 houses, I think. This house that we're in now was part of the viewings that I think we did. I don't remember if it was the first time or the second time, but we were doing these viewings. It was one day, like it was crazy. We're doing viewings, we're seeing houses that had some features that we wanted. Some of them didn't have the features that we wanted, and all that. So when we came into this house, according to a realtor, she could see our faces. Like everybody was just like happy. Everybody was like, yep, this could be it. Mind you, I bookmarked this house way before, like yeah, I'd seen it on realtor.ca and I had bookmarked it, this townhouse. And so we did the viewing, and then after we got out of this house, I told my sister, like, the realtor reminded me, I don't even remember this, that I asked my sister to take me a selfie because I am manifesting. She was like, it's the only house that you asked your sister to take a picture of you after the viewing and you said manifesting. I need to find that photo. Actually, I do. Remember I told you that there was an area that I wanted us to live in? We found we went to a viewing at the area one time, and I didn't like how far it was from any daycares, from our workplaces, and we went on like during the first snowfall, I think, like the fake winter day in, like, I think, is it like October or September? There was a fake, like, you know, there's a 1 day of snowfall and then everything goes back to normal. It's fall. I didn't like it. It was so far off. There's a lot of construction happening. No daycare nearby. I was like, yeah, I want to live in this area, but maybe not today. Maybe my first home does not need to be that. Another criteria that I had is if we want to upgrade one day and finances permitted, we will. But also, if we never have to move or never have to upgrade, that's okay too. And honestly, I think we got that. Moving on, we asked the realtor to view this house again. We went to view it this time, like, with a focus lens of, like, can we stay here? Try to visualize myself in the space. My husband was like, yep, I foresee us living here. So by that time, it had been in the market for about a month. And our realtor was like, well, if it's still on the market for about a month, let's lowball them on our offer. And I was like, girl, you're the man. So she did, and they came back and said, be for real, we are not taking this money. And then she added $5,000, and they were like, girl, like, y'all need to come up, right? Y'all need to come up. I've lost a lot of lights, girl. Like, I started filming when winter. She had to go away, like, she had to go on vacation, our realtor, but she works with her dad. So she introduced us to her dad, and her dad was like, yo, my client said this much money, and let us know if you're taking it or leaving it right now. And so they were like, okay, cool, what about let's meet over here? And the realtor came back to us and like, yeah, maybe they just want you to add $2,000 more in the offer. And we're like, bet. But yeah, and then we had like conditions of offer. We will do a home inspection, review condo documents and all that. And yeah, if everything is in order, then okay, I'll do another in-depth video of like the process of like, yeah, what they need. Anyway, from then on, everything just went fast. It was no longer a dream. Like, it looked like we were actually buying a house. And it was so funny. Like, one day I woke up and like, we are buying a house? Is that what we're doing here? Or are we just going with the flow? Like, what's happening? Yeah, we were buying a house. So they accepted the offer. The people who were supposed to come inspected. They said there is no major issues. They had a few things that obviously we can just say, yeah, your house is cool, let's buy it. There are a few things that they had to fix, or like drop down their their charge, and then we'll fix it. Just like minor stuff, like light fixtures, or like there was one closet without a door, or it was just a few razzle dazzle here and there. And so they said okay, and we said okay. And so I think between when we saw this house to the offer, to everything, to us putting an offer, like the whole back and forth of the offer, it was 2 weeks. Like, we bought a house in 2 weeks. So I went back to the bank, and the bank was like, yeah, Dad, submit this and this. We submitted this and this, and the bank called us and said, yeah, oh, final approval. And we went to the lawyers. It was just so funny. It was just so grown up. The money that we had been putting in our first savings account, plus the money that I got from the retirement savings from my former job, plus the fact that this house was priced to sell, everything just, yeah, everything just was like 1 + 1 = 2, for lack of better wording. So that's the story of how we didn't plan to buy a house, but ended up buying a house this year. It's a townhouse, and I'm just grateful that this happened, even though we didn't think it was gonna happen. Started out being, I wanted pre-approval, to being, I'm a homeowner. We are homeowners. We bought a house. Darling. Anyway, I don't want this video to be so long. I will still like do other videos showing the process and everything, like being more in-depth, because I feel like, yeah, there's a lot to be said about this process. But just for now, but we're homeowners. Yes. Anyway, if you've watched until this point, I just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for everything. And yeah, you can change my phone number if you have it to Landlord Tata right now. I'm kidding, but yeah, I'm just so grateful for being able to do this. And yeah, we are in our homeowner era. Anyway, see you next time.